Hey guys, what's happening? Hope everybody's doing good. We're gonna just go ahead and jump into this. Yeah, let me. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, guys, we got some stuff going on. Obviously, um, M-class flare. This is going to be a very short one, by the way, just so everybody understands. um, we did have an M-class flare, but look at all these flares. Yeah, there is a lot going on here. Okay, so many flares. And the issue, guys, is now that this is they're blowing off CMEs. So, and the one that just fired the sim class flare caused the radio blackout. Um, it also hurled another CME at us. So we're going to take a look at all that real quick, and I'll show you and explain to you what I think is going to be happening over the next week, probably. Regardless, solar activity's picking up and picking up fast. This is actually kind of expected. Even in the sun cycle, there are cycles inside of that sun cycle. So you're going to have um, more active times and less active times. And right now, we're coming back up into a more active time. So we can expect this, but you know what? It's been a while since we've had a lot of this stuff coming at us all at once. So anyway, NOAA's forecasting here, guys. They are forecasting a G1 right here. I look for that to change a little bit. And let me explain what I mean. I think that what we're going to end up seeing is all these things are going to start hitting. Now, the 17th is about when it's supposed to start anyway. I think with all the subsequent uh, other eruptions, plus a coronal hole, which is a decent sized coronal hole too. So I think we're going to be pushing, man, I hate to use that word, but we got a possibility of some pretty strong geomagnetic storms happening. Now, I'm not talking about grid down, okay, but I do think that we could have some issues. Um, you know, Mainly, I wouldn't say that, the closer you are to the equator, the less your chances of having things happen. Um, I don't. Again, I'm not saying anybody's going to lose lose any kind of electricity or anything. I simply just can't say that right now. Now things may change, but we just got a lot of eruptions, and it's going to be back to back to back to back to back to back. I mean, it's just going to keep hitting us once it starts. At least that's what it looks like. So all we can do is go off their models and go, off of what we've seen and kind of give our best, somewhat educated guess at it. And again, guys, we've got kind of an odd sunspot too. It's got reverse polarity, and we'll take a look at that, and I'll explain what that means here in just a second. Um, but with the reverse polarity sunspot, those things tend to be a little bit more active. They don't usually tend to throw out big, large, huge flares, but they are more active. And so, you know what? Seeing how I'm talking about that, I'll go right to that real fast. Okay. Um, and what we're going to look at, guys, in a sun cycle, we expect a certain polarity when it comes to these sunspots. And if you guys don't know what starts and stops the sun cycle or when's the new one start, it's when the it's a pole flip on the sun, and it happens roughly every 11 years. So with that being said, the sunspots are going to have a negative positive or a positive negative. And when we get to like last sun cycle was 24, we had a specific polarity for the sunspots. In the northern hemisphere, I believe it was negative to positive. And now, well, if you look at this sunspot here in the northern hemisphere of the sun, this is presenting as positive negative. You see the red, that's positive. Blue's negative. Look at this sunspot over here. Okay, this is a reverse polarity sunspot. You got negative and positive, not positive, negative. Now, we expect about 3% of the sunspots during a sun cycle to present this way. Okay, so I hope I explained that well enough. Um, but that's what we're talking about when we're talking about polarity. Now, notice, you got negative, positive here, and they're pretty decent. There's a pretty decent area in between the negative and positive. In other words, these aren't really intermingling. But let's look at a sunspot that just morphed like really quick right here. You see the negative? Look what's surrounding it. You got positive. So what I'm saying here is that this is now became a complex sunspot that's flaring almost constantly. Okay. And I'll show you that here in a second. Plus, we had, you remember we talking about that like plasma trough, I think we call it, or plasma canyon. We looked like we had an eruption like that over here. And again, I'll show it to you on the extreme ultraviolet because it'll show it better. So here is that flare. Okay. Now that's not the only eruption that we've had. I showed you guys one last night, but we've also had multiple ones, and the majority of them are, a lot of these are now coming to Earth. And again, you got to wait on the models to. Sorry about that, guys. To update and do its thing. So it's pretty early on. So that is the flare right there. And again, as far as flares are concerned, it's really not that strong of one. But I'm gonna just kind of run this through. You know what? I'm gonna change this to the 94. It's a green image, and the reason why is because you're going to be able to see these flares really, really well. Now, while that's loading, I'm going to take you over here to seeds and show you the past couple days here of what's been going on. Now, this is on LASCO C2. Okay, this is on the SOHO Observatory. It's a satellite that sits out in front of the Earth about 1 million miles closer to the sun. And it's always looking at the sun, and it orbits the sun with us. Okay, so that's what this satellite is. Now you can kind of see a few little eruptions here. That one there. Okay, some of those aren't coming at us. Some of those are going too far south. But let's go to the next day. Okay, this is the 14th, and this is when you're going to start seeing eruptions, like big ones. Okay, I don't want to say big, but they are substantial, right? You got like a half halo, and this is the one I showed you guys yesterday. Notice that there was one prior to that one blowing off. So it was over here. There's actually a small chance that might even clip us. I don't think it's going to, but there is a chance of it. Now, if we go on to today, let's take a look and see what we got. Okay, that eruption right there is not the same one I just showed you. Okay, that's a different eruption, and then it's even erupting again here. So we've got a lot of eruptions happening right now. So we're definitely going to have to take. Am I breaking up, guys? Sorry. Are we good, or are we 5 for 5, or what? I'm just now checking it. Hey, Kat. Ain't seen you in a minute. Arizona, what's happening? Hey, Pamela. Okay, cool. Okay, sorry, Linda, if you're having some issues there. I apologize. I don't think it's on my end, but it, I guess it could be. But everybody else told me 5 for 5. Anyway, I'm sorry if you're having issues there. So anyway, so we're talking multiple eruptions now, guys. So, and guys, I strongly encourage you guys to come over here to Seeds and check this stuff out for yourself. Okay. So if we go down here, you can see, like I showed you guys yesterday, you can see where it detects the CME, and that's what these are. So if we click on that one, that's that second larger one. So yeah. So let's go back over here, and we're back on the green, the 94. It's an angstrom of light. This is on SDO. another satellite out in front of Earth, just not as close to the sun as Soho is. This is a geosynchronistic orbit, which means it stays over the same spot of the Earth even as it rotates. Okay, it does a figure eight pattern, but it always keeps its eye on the sun. So anyway, notice how there ain't much of a sunspot there. Okay, so watch as I move forward here. You can see this sucker just like morph into something, man. I mean, it's still erupting as I speak. Actually, I'm gonna like reset that. It'll give us a few more images there. Okay, so again, that's where the flare came from, and I'll show it to you again. Okay, now notice within the past day or so, what's this thing look like? Looks like a daggone Christmas tree when it starts. I mean, it's just blinking all over the place, right? Those are eruptions. Those are flares. Not necessarily eruptions, but some of those did erupt. But here is that sunspot up here that's got reverse polarity. All right, and if we go move forward, there was a C-class flare here. Now over here is where I seen that what we would call, I guess, a plasma trench or whatever they call it. But you'll see what I mean here in a second. I reported on them before, right there. See that? It's hard to miss it, but yeah, that's happening. And again, guys, look at that. I mean, it's pretty big. But I'm not so sure that one's really going to hit us dead on. It does look to be going down at an angle and off to our right a little bit, but it looks like we might get sideswiped by that one. Now, the one that came from up here was the first eruption I showed you, and that one looks to be hitting us right dead on. This one, it just happened. It does look like it shot a CME. So that's like right in front of us. The only way that one's going to miss us if it goes too far south of Earth. Okay, because that's what I'm just kind of seeing that. Now I'll change this to the 304 real quick. So I'm going to give you guys a couple different views to look at here because it helps people understand. You know, so yeah. Michael, you're killing me, Michael. But you're probably right there for sure. Anyway, so this is the 304 again, like I said, and we'll go ahead and you see this eruption right here, guys. This sucker here, wow, it's very photogenic. I'll tell you that much. Let's get this back over here. It might be down too far. I just wanted to zoom in for you guys to give you guys a better look here. Okay, so I'll back that up. Now that's the second big eruption. Okay, you definitely can see plasma getting flung out. I mean, it like just opens up and bam. Look at that. Now that's not right in front of us. Notice the angle. Because this satellite is from Earth's perspective. So I think we're probably going to get a little bit of a blow from that, but I don't think it's going to be a dead on hit. And I'm not sure if I want to call it lucky or just something that happened. But there you go. So let's go up here and take a look at the one that I do think is going to impact us. It came from up here, and I do, a lot of these are going to impact us anyway. Okay, but the bigger ones is what I'm talking about here. Let me back here. Okay. So watch right here where my cursor's at. It may not have went back far enough. I bet it didn't. Let's roll it backwards and see what we got. But I showed it to you guys yesterday. Spaceweather.com also put a small little video clip on their webpage. Well, you know what? It's right here. So, well, they changed it. Unless, there it is. Okay. That's from that reverse polarity sunspot. That one there is not this bigger one that happened here on the bottom. Okay, those are two separate eruptions. Man, I hate that. Sorry about that, guys. Again, I'm not using my main computer here. I'm using a different computer, so I don't have a mouse. I'm trying to use this trackpad, and it definitely puts a little dip in my hip, if you know what I mean. But anyway, right there. So here we go. It'll show it here in just a second. Well, we gotta back it up. So there we go. It's gonna. You guys will see it, I'm sure. There it is. That's the second eruption, guys. Okay. So yeah, we've got some space weather to deal with here. And there's not a whole lot more for me to show you right now because we're not under any kind of geomagnetic storm right now. But what I can show you is the radio blackout. We were in an R1. That's what the M flare comes in at. Okay. All first responders may be seeing some issues with their radio communications. That's pretty much what we're talking about here. So this is the absorption graph, and this is what we, not graph, but model. We use this to kind of gauge what's going on with flares. And right there, that's where the M-class flare was. Okay. Now remember that the flare is here and gone already. Okay. That stuff gets here in 8 minutes. It's gone. That's X-ray. It's moving at the speed of light. Now the CME is, what we got to wait on, and that's what would really give us the big hard hits. And something else I want to point out that I didn't mention would be, I guess I did mention it a little bit, but this coronal hole, it's right in front of us now. Then we have this M-class flare right here. So guys, the solar wind stream from this coronal hole is probably going to combine with some of these CMEs, at least one of them. I guess it could be like outside of the CME, but it would be really close behind or in front of one. There's just too much going on in the sun to kind of like, hey, this, and this is getting ready to happen. I can't say that. I just can't. There's nothing I can say right now to like hammer that kind of a thing down. And I do look for these forecasts to kind of change with all this other stuff happening. Now, this might not change. This might stay, they're forecasting for the 17th, because what we would want to be seeing is the 18th and on, because that's when the other eruptions started happening. So just kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, so all right. Now that's pretty much all I had for you guys. I'm not going to stay on here very much longer. I just want to give you this update. If something else happens, especially if it's something bigger, I will definitely let you know. So yeah. And yeah, guys. So I'll try my best to stay on top of this stuff. And again, I can't say for certain what exactly conditions we can expect. Okay. But what I can say is we do have space weather coming, and I do believe that activity is going to continue to increase. And yeah. So that's just what we got going on. But shout out to everybody I typically shout out. I'm not going to go down that list right now. But yeah, I mean, and Ron's in here. Ron, we've had some decent sized earthquakes. I guess I could have shown that. But go check out Ron's channel over at Emergency Management Associates. Tyler, I guess he put that on the end of the name now. Hey, JJ, what's up? Hey, Hilly, what's up, my brother? But yeah, Beckinator, what's happening? Simon said, Cheryl, what's up? Bruce. Kathy. Okay, guys. I am going to go ahead and pop off here. See, look, guys. There's an M-class flare. Look at this. Another flare. And I think it's coming from that same sunspot. So I do think we got some stuff to watch. So we will definitely do that. And as always, guys, thank you for coming here. And, go check out my second channel with Tommy over on the lifeboat, please. That's, it's an addiction channel as far as recovery. But please come and check us out over there. It's called the Lifeboat. It's in my description box if you guys want to check it out. And everybody else, guys, anybody that's been, coming here and just checking me out and everything, I appreciate anybody that's, doing that. So check out Marv. Check out this everybody. I mean, everybody. Uh, Pastor Paul, he's been doing a lot of videos over there too. So, guys, check out everybody, please. Please. And that's just what I would say. And this community is full of a lot of good people, guys. It really is. And, we're not always going to agree. Okay. That's just a fact. But we don't have to be mean to each other. You know what I mean? So, that's how I roll. Anyway, God bless. Yahusha saves. And, yeah, you can drink this Kool-Aid.